point because I saw something else pop up.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm going to just give you, if we can, before we go there, I just want to give you all a few specific things that we're doing for Black Lives Matter, too, and in case anyone has to go during Q&A. I'm going to do this in 5 minutes or less. Watch. All right, watch. All right, so first of all, yes, the hashtag came after Trayvon Martin's murder. Alicia Garza, Opal Tometi, and Patrice Marie Colors Khan, started with something that Alicia wrote on Facebook that was just kind of like a love letter around what was happening to Black people with the Black Lives Matter. So that, existed. And then after Mike Brown and the Ferguson uprisings happened, busloads came in, which Patrice and other people out of New York City chapter organized from all around the country to Ferguson to meet with the community there and see what's going on from all different cities, LA, Chicago, New York, all these bus rides of Black folks coming in to give support and to get to know the community there. As a result, when people went back, they said we want to continue this work, and a lot of people want to continue it under Black Lives Matter, right? Because some of the originators of the hashtag have been involved in organizing along with many other people to make those bus rides happen. So that's where the chapters come out of. There are about 50 chapters now across the country, in Toronto and in other places as well. We have been, and then we've also been doing a lot of work and exchanges with people in the UK and across Europe that are also organizing Black people, and so, and that are very interested in doing it, with the Black Lives Matter spectrum. As far as platform, you can go to the national website and you can definitely see some of the policy form stuff. We are a part of Movement for Black Lives, as well as MXGM and several organizations, BYP 100, Million Hoodies, who all come together under this Movement for Black Lives, which is kind of what collectively have kind of termed the movement right now, right? And that's where the policy platform came out of last year that a lot of people read about, that got a lot of attention because of a couple of the things that were in it. So there's that. And then within our chapter, same thing of how MXGM, we work on things that, are particular to our communities here. And we've never termed ourselves a movement. That's something the media use. So I compare it usually to how the same way as I'm half Chicana, half Mexican American. We are as different from somebody who is Brazilian to somebody who is Puerto Rican as can be, but people love to term us as just all being Latino, right? Or all being Hispanic as this collective way to generalize or to be able for their own convenience. So I use that as an example for in the same way that the media was like, okay, well, all these people got Black Lives Matter sign. We're going to call them all Black Lives Matter protesters, right? And call this a Black Lives Matter movement. So it was very much so media and people who were talking about the movement, commenting on it, and people who were speaking against it that started to use this movement and terming it as that, but we've never termed it as, internally as a movement. Locally, some of the things that we're working on is a lot of the groups that Djibril mentioned that came out of CAPD and that, moved into people's justice and different coalitions over the years. Now there is Communities for Police Reform that a lot of them are a part of, and so there are some of our members that sit at that table and that are working on issues around policy reform in the city. We also, one of our other campaigns that is coalition work is around Swipe It Forward. That is around your Metro cards, right? One of the largest nonviolent offenses in terms of money and where the city racks up money in the city is around Metro card swipes. So that means either people hopping the turnstiles or people, even if you ask for a swipe, you could actually be arrested for that, asking even though someone's not selling it to you, right? But you can swipe somebody else in. It's $2.75. Costs way more to everybody to prosecute somebody for hopping a turnstile. So one of the campaigns that we've been having going across the city is asking people to swipe people in. If you have an unlimited or if you have extra money, swipe somebody in, and that's a way that easily helps to deter that, right? And where we can all play our part in a very simple way. And then we have days where we'll take over different train stations and come in with Metro cards that are loaded with, a certain amount of money, where we're just swiping people in and doing education around what's going on with the charges around the turnstiles. So that is another thing. We do a lot of work with families of those who've been killed by the police. So like last year we did a lot of fundraising for people who were murdered and their families. And so like not just the funerals, it's, you know, there were some repasts, you know, where families were just like, yo, we need help with the repast, like food, simple stuff, right? And so not so those things, but then also like what happens a year later, right? When that person's child still needs clothes and things like that. And so just making sure that we're checking in, and it doesn't always have to be that big thing that's a big, you know, Christmas fundraiser or the thing that's in media, but it's the small thing of knowing that like there's family members who have cancer and different things now, and making sure that, you know, they have a meal, if there's a place to come together. So that's a lot of where our work is centered, as well as creating healing spaces. That's also very important to our chapter from the day to day of when we're seeing this type of stuff in the news. And then we have to go to class or we have to go to school. And it's very different when we're dealing with Black trauma, because when things happen in this country that are seen as trauma in the mainstream, right, which usually has nothing, never includes us and the things that we're traumatized around or things that we're being violated with. You see people at the water cooler, they're going to talk about that shooting that happened in the school, or they're going to talk about the Boston Marathon and these other issues, but you never see them talking about the times when, you know, talking about Sandra Bland, right? And so you almost have to find your little corner of people. You kind of like, yo, I can finally release, or you're carrying that. And so that's also really important to us, is to be able to start to create those spaces where we can even just unload. So those are the things we're working on. You have our info and social media and everything is on the card.
I just want to add, like, you know, BLM, as she mentioned before, is made up of organizers who also represent their own organizations. So, like yesterday, somebody online was like, "Oh, does Black Lives Matter have a position on immigration?" And it was kind of like, you know, not snarky, but it was one of those kind of snarky comments. And then people brought up the fact, they're like, one of the members, Opal, is the actual